Hello, welcome back to the Yorkshire Bike Mechanics YouTube channel. I hope you're all well, and I still can't find my apron. I have looked everywhere for it. I'm sure there's a ghost in this place. It's nuts. Stuff goes missing. I know we're only small, but you wouldn't think you'd better lose a big apron, would you? It's got Park Tool written all on front and I can't find it anywhere. Anyway, I'm going to have to order another one. So, it's chucking it down, by the way. Again, it's really cold. Although that doesn't stop people riding the bikes. People are riding the bikes more than ever before, and we are busy as ever before. So today I thought I'd bring you something. You know me, I like to bring you something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be working on a road bike. Okay, it's a Planet X road bike. We do quite a lot of road bikes as well as mountain bikes and e-bikes. So I thought I'd do something a bit different today, and we'll show you this Planet X. But I've come across something quite dangerous on this bike that I've had to kind of speak to the customer about, and I've refused to put that part back on the bike until it gets replaced, which is something that we don't like to do. I don't like to be the bringer of bad news to all our customers, but nevertheless, when something's dangerous, you can't put it back on the bike. It's not worth it. So he's all right with that, he's happy with that, and we're going to put a new part on, and I'll take you around and show you what that part is. It's not something that you generally look for normally, but on a road bike you look for it all the time. So here she is, as you can see. It's a Planet X road bike, carbon. Okay, when it's in for a general service. So what we'll do, I think, before we go ahead and service it, I think I'll show you what I found on this bike that's particularly dangerous. It's something that we check for on all road bikes with cantilever brakes. So what I'll do is I'll take you around to the front end and show you what I found. So what I've done is I've highlighted this particular area on the front wheel that's actually showing faults. And as part of a service on a road bike, particularly ones with cantilever brakes, is you've got to inspect the braking surface on the rim, as well as the pads and the operation of the brake generally. But on inspecting this rim, I found that this rim is actually curved, okay, which is obviously not normal. But the reason why it gets curved or convexed is the pads that constantly rub on this braking surfaces that wear it away. That's all it is, basically, is wear and tear. But a lot of rims have like wear indicators on them, and you'll find that sometimes they're like little holes. And the idea is when you see these little holes start to disappear on this braking surface, then it's time to renew your rim. If you don't renew your rim, then it carries on, then it becomes unsafe, it becomes unstable. And what can happen is that this can actually fracture, it can split, and that's what it's done in this particular case. You can see there, I'll put a photo so you can actually see it a little bit closer. So you can see that it's actually cracked, but it's not just cracked in this area, it's actually cracked in quite a lot of it all the way around and on the other side, which makes this wheel particularly, well, very unsafe, to be honest, because it's just about to give way, and you'll lose all your braking surface. This will start to shred and strip, and it'll peel off, and you could end up in all sorts of trouble. It's part of the standard service to check this stuff. So, having had a conversation with the customer, obviously, about how dangerous this wheel is, with a view that we need to replace it, I can't give it back to him like that. Well, I refuse to anyway. It's not something that we would want to do. And so he's agreed to replace this wheel. Unfortunately, we have a new one in. Parts are just as difficult to get as they were before, even more so. So he's quite fortunate that we've got a new wheel in to replace this. So now that we've had a look at the front wheel, and you know the reason why I've condemned it, then we know for a fact that this bottom bracket needs replacing, these bearings in here. It's a standard Shimano bottom bracket. It's a road version, which means that the inner tube is a different length. The outer cups are more or less the same. Obviously the description or the writing's different on the cups, but they're nearly identical in design. So what we'll do is, it's in desperate need of replacing, and so we'll go ahead and take this off, and we'll show you how it's done. So first things first, let's drop the chain onto the small ring at the front, and let's drop it down onto the small ring at the back. So we'll do that first. That's it. And the front one, there we are. Okay. So the first thing that we need to do is undo these two pinch bolts here. It's a 5mm Allen key. And it helps if you try and undo a little bit at a time on each one, because you'll find that if you undo one of them completely, the other one will be very difficult to undo, because they actually work together to clamp the crank arm onto the spindle. So just undo a little bit at a time on each one until it becomes loose. It's exactly the same procedure on a Shimano crankset on a mountain bike, very similar. Okay, so once we've got them loosened off, we don't need to take them all the way out. Okay, we need a little tool to lift that tab up. I use a part tool to get this end cap off. Just wind that out completely. You've got to undo these bolts first before you take this out, because you won't get it undone otherwise. Once that's out, then you can put it to one side. And then this little tab in the middle, this little black tab, there's a hook on this tool. We just need to lift it up. It's a safety mechanism to stop the crank arm falling off if the bolts come loose. So we just generally work that off with his hands. There we are, till that comes off. We'll put that to one side. Now what we need to do is we need to take this crankset off. So we need to push it that way very, very carefully. We'll use this rubber or plastic hammer just to tap that way whilst holding the other side. Okay. Well, this chain should fall off at the same time. Okay, so you just might need to gently persuade it just to actually come out of there. Okay. There we are. Probably help if I turn the bike the right way around. So that's the crankset. You can see it's a little bit dirty there. We need to give it a clean and a wipe before we put that back. There we are. We can see from the marks there that this has been loose for quite a while. Obviously we've got some dirt behind there. So we'll put that to one side. Okay. Which gives us access to this here. And if you could actually feel that with your finger now, you might be able to hear it. Proper rough is that. And the other one will be the same at the other side, which it is. Okay. So what we need to do now is we need to get these cups out. Okay, and it's a special tool that you use. It doesn't have to be a Shimano particular tool, as long as it fits the outer cup of the Shimano bottom bracket. There's a few different versions available. A tool like that goes over the top. Okay, that you either put a spanner on or you put a 3/4 drive in there. You can use one of them. Or you can use this particular tool here, a bottom bracket tool from Shimano. That just actually fits over the edge there. Not particularly expensive, these tools, but you definitely need one to get this bottom bracket off. Now the direction of the undoing, okay, is always forward. Okay, so to undo, it's left hand, okay, and on the other side it's the same way, so it's like an opposite thread. So they're handed, you can't actually get them mixed up, and you don't want to get them mixed up because you'll end up trying to thread the wrong one in the right way. More often than not, you can put force on that and it'll come loose like that, okay. And if you carry on going all the way around, it will eventually unscrew. That one's pretty tight, and the same as the other side. We get that on there, and we push downwards because it's a left hand. Okay, and that's coming out, but that's slow as well. Okay. Sometimes it's better off if you get this particular tool on here and get a spanner to undo it. Okay, once you've got them out, if we look at his new bottom bracket, this is road specific. It's a BBRS 500, and it's road specific because the tube in the middle is generally shorter than the ones on a mountain bike one. Okay, so we'll carefully set this out. There's the tube, and it'll say on the outboard cup a right and a left. So obviously your right hand goes on your right hand cup and your left goes on your left hand cup. And the other thing that it'll say is that it's road specific. Okay, now these actually come in two flavours. You can get an Italian thread or you can get an English thread. It's unlikely that you'll ever probably need to use an Italian thread unless you've got an Italian frame, and it's likely to have Campag gear system on there as well. So generally speaking, the only one that you'll need to use or you'll need is the English one. And it comes loaded with grease. Okay, you can see the grease on the inside. You don't need to bother putting any grease on your new crankset or the crankset that you're putting back in. Okay, so there were no particular spacers on this particular model when we took it out. So if we put that together, okay, and we offer it up underneath and we put it at the side, we can actually see whether this tube's actually going to be too long or too short. Now if it's a road one, you'll generally find that the tube will be just right for this particular frame, and in this case it is. So we don't need to do anything with that at all. We just need to put that straight back in. The sleeve itself is handed, so you'll see right and left, so that's important that it goes in the right one. Okay, so we'll put the left hand bottom bracket in first, which is that way, and what we'll do is we'll just get a rag and we'll just clean these threads out. Now if these threads are showing any sign of deterioration or they don't look quite right, what I'd normally do is actually run through with a thread cleaner. I'll show you what one of them looks like. Okay, I've got one here. Okay, and what this basically does is it just cleans these cutters here. They cleans all the threads out on the bottom bracket housing inside. So I'll just give it a demonstrate. I'll just demonstrate you. So it only goes in one way because obviously the threads are handed. So that one goes in from the right way, and you just line them up. Okay, and you just feel your way around till it lines up with the threads. And to tighten, this side goes right hand. It helps if you put a little bit of oil on as well. Okay, so I'll do this side first, and it just cleans the threads. You don't need to go all the way through. And just go backwards and forwards, and it'll just clean those threads out. And once that side's done, then you can do the other side. Okay. Obviously the other side is tightening up the other way. Okay, so I'm just backwards and forwards. Put a little bit of oil on. It just helps to go through a little bit easier. Helps to clean the threads out. Okay. Okay, that's fine. And I'll take that one out. And you just gently pull them out. And you can see now that that particular thread is really clean. I'd probably do this nearly on all bottom brackets that we replace, just to make sure those threads are clean out. It also helps if they've been the cups have been difficult to get out before. It just removes any residue inside. So we get a little bit of oil or grease on his new bottom bracket. We make sure they're going in the right way. So this is the left hand one. Just a bit of oil on there. Okay, and we'll just turn it until it engages in the thread. And you can feel how easy that goes in compared to how it came out. Get the other cup, some oil on there. You can use grease or oil, as long as it's a good oil or grease. You can use either. You could put anti-seize on as well if you wanted to. And we'll get a spanner. Okay, we'll just tighten them up till the touch. We'll just nip those up. Right, okay, perfect. So we'll take his crankset and we've give it a clean. The surfaces look all right. There's no issues there. There's a little bit of muck on there. I think we'll just get a little bit of wire wool. Okay. Just clean any rubbish off there. That's it. Okay, we don't need to put any grease or oil on because there's plenty inside the new tube. So we just get hold of this chain and we'll just pull that to the right hand side of a spindle. And we just gently push this back in. That's it, and we'll just put this chain back on that small ring as we go through. That's it, and then we can push it all the way through. That's it. We'll leave that grease on there. You don't need to take that off because it'll help when we put the other crank arm on. Okay. So just make sure that obviously you're putting it on the opposite side. Okay, there we are. Okay, now we get us end cap, and we'll put this on before we do anything else. Get us tool and tighten that up. Now you just need to do this finger tight. You don't need to do it super tight. Just finger tight. That's it. And then take your 5mm Allen key and just tighten these up. Push that little tab down with your finger and just tighten these up a bit at a time. One side and then the other side. Okay. And once we've got them hand tight on both bolts, both nuts, we need a torque wrench. 5mm torque wrench, 14 Newton meters. Okay, 14 Newton meters, 5 mil. There we are. So we'll just do one a little bit and then the other one. And then the other one. That's it. And the other one. That's it. Done. Okay. So now we've got a brand new bottom bracket on his road bike. Nice and smooth. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed that video. A little bit of information on how to sort a bottom bracket out and put a new one in. If there's any questions, please just comment below. Also, please subscribe and share, and obviously click the bell as well, so you get notifications when we put another one up. And thanks ever so much. See you later, bye.